are liberal. This is a message to the American Jews who are liberals who make a bigger deal about, of course, about like the Christian right, of course, and their controversial positions and like and all that and all that and on them wanting to emphasize Christian values in this country, even though wanting to call them out a Christian nation. Well, like for example, like that. Well, let me tell you this. What is the message to them? Let me tell you this. That is nothing. That's nothing compared to what the genocidal Islamo-Fascists and want to do to Israel. Compared to what the genocidal Arab Muslim world want to do to Israel. That's nothing. That's nothing compared to what these Islamo-Fascists want to do. And they want to do far more than teach creationism in schools. They even refer to us Jews as apes and pigs, or as sons of apes and pigs. That's what they refer to us. That's what they refer to us. They refer to us, they see us as the enemy of Islam and all that. Basically. I mean, compare, and I mean, they, and all that, I mean, compare to what Islamo-Fascists do, compare to what these Islamo-Fascists do, what the Christian right does is nothing. It's peanuts. It's peanuts. Because of course these liberals in the American Jewish community, they want to make a bigger deal. They want to make a bigger deal on some of the stuff the Christian right does, on them, of course, opposing gay marriage, on them, of course, wanting to call America a Christian nation, on them wanting to emphasize the Christian values of this great nation, and all that. I mean, these liberals in the American Jewish community make a bigger deal than that than they do on Islamo-Fascists attacking Israel, than they do on the fact that the genocidal Arab Muslim world has tried continuously to wage a genocidal struggle on Israel. I mean, let's go on. I mean, of course, there's some. I mean, of course, there's the anti-Israel self-hating Jewish fringe in the American Jewish community, or the anti-Israel fringe in the Jewish community groups like J Street, of course, which basically seem like groups like J Street, which basically, of course, takes a narrative of Israel not making enough suicidal concessions as the reason why there's no peace there, as fact, basically. I mean, and J Street, of course, cuddles up with all these anti-Israel groups. But I mean, anyway, other than J Street, other than J Street, I'm talking about just American Jews who choose to support the political left, who basically seem to believe, who basically want to believe that there's more anti-Semitism on the political right and all that, even though the proof shows otherwise. But I mean, I'm talking about some of the American Jews who choose to be liberals. I'm talking about them, basically. I mean, of course, they hold some pro-Israel views, but I mean, they still seem to believe that the Christian right. They seem to act like the Christian right, like and all that, and them emphasizing some Christian values in our society is a bigger threat than what the genocidal Arab Muslim world wants to do to Israel. They seem to think it's a bigger threat than what than the Islamo-Fascists wanting to impose an Islamic theocracy on America. I mean, and all that, basically, and the liberals in the American community, they seem to think it's a bigger deal than the crown Islamo-Fascists do, and the fact that Islamo-Fascists are fighting to impose a xenophobic Islamic caliphate on the world, that would of course be anti-Semitic to the core, as well as anti-Christian to the core, as well as homophobic to the core, as well, and all that, basically. I mean, not saying that these American Jews would cuddle up with them for of course, I mean, but I'm just saying basically that, I mean, but I'm basically saying that I mean, I mean, but what I am saying basically is that, I mean, what I'm saying is that compared to what Islamo-Fascists do, what the Christian right does is peanuts. I mean, of course, some of these, I mean, at least many of these evangelical Christians, of course, publicly support Israel, to begin with, of course. And I mean, what many of these liberals in the American Jewish community, they make a bigger deal, of course, on some Christians, of course, wanting to use Israel to bring about what they believe is the end of days, than they do about, like, for example, than they do about the dominant currents in the Arab Muslim world, just like, for example, teaching Arab Muslims that Jews are sons of apes and pigs, of course, like, for example, even though, I mean, you don't see you don't see 2-year-olds in America, of course, saying that Jews are apes and pigs, and then the host praising that girl as like a good Christian. I mean, on Saudi TV, that's what happened. You saw, I mean, there's a famous clip where you saw Basmala, who was a 2 or 3-year-old girl, basically. She said that Jews are basically like the sons of apes and pigs, or the Jews are apes and pigs, basically. And she said that the Quran said that, and then the host of that show, the host praised her as a good Muslim girl. The host praised her as a good Muslim girl and said that she is who every Muslim should aspire to be, or who every Muslim aspires to be, or something like that. That's what she said. That's what she said. I mean, I don't think it's what every Muslim wants to be. I mean, there are plenty of decent Muslims and plenty of decent Arabs, but I'm not talking about them. But I mean, of course, there are plenty of decent Muslim Arabs, but I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about them. What I'm talking about is why do these liberal American Jews make a bigger deal about the Christian right and maybe some nuts in it, than of course the jihadists who basically chop people's heads off, basically, and all that. And these jihadists, of course, who are leading the genocidal terror struggle on Israel. I mean, this is just insane. This is just insane, of course. I mean, this is just insane. And all that, basically. I mean, this is why, basically, we should, of course, this is just insane.